I was tutoring my crush Emma in organic chemistry at Boston University, bringing her coffee and staying until the library closed every night. My roommate Tyler showed me fake screenshots making it look like Emma was calling me useful, but definitely not boyfriend material behind my back. I broke things off with her completely devastated, only to discover Tyler had photoshopped everything to steal her for himself, while secretly blackmailing me with an edited photo from a party that could destroy Em's shield. Why, pre-med scholarship. What I did when I exposed his elaborate manipulation scheme got him expelled and nearly sent to prison for blackmail. Ever since I was little, my parents trained me like a show dog. Perfect scores meant pats on the head. Anything less meant disappointed silence. Your brain as your only valuable asset was literally embroidered on a pillow in our Boston living room. So when Emma, a girl in my organic chemistry class at BU, asked for help, of course, I said yes. That's my thing. I'm the human calculator everyone uses when desperate. Except, Emma was different. She actually cared about learning. She'd show up with 2 coffees from the campus Starbucks and stay until security kicked us out of the science library. This girl had failed Orgo twice but kept coming back, determined to master it. My roommate Tyler thought I was an idiot for tutoring her for free. Same guy who'd saved me freshman year when my kleptomaniac roommate stole my graphing calculator before finals. Tyler seemed solid back then. 6 months in though, Emma went from bombing quizzes to pulling A's. And yeah, I'd caught feelings hard. She had this cute nose scrunch when conjugating molecules, started bringing me energy drinks because she noticed I crashed around 3 p.m. and when she finally understood reaction mechanisms, her whole face would light up. But Tyler kept planting doubts. She only hits you up for homework, or weird, how she's always busy when you want to hang outside the library. Those comments ate at me. I finally decided to confess after our Thursday session. Emma had been extra sweet lately, even made me homemade cookies the week before. But Wednesday night, Tyler came over with this constipated look on his face. You deserve to know, he said. Tyler showed me screenshots from some group chat. Emma's name at the top. The messages read, "At least the tutoring is free, and he's useful. But definitely not boyfriend material." Too nerdy, you know? I felt like such a tool. I'd noticed Emma dressing nicer lately. Now it made sense. She was probably meeting some guy after using me for free tutoring. Next day, Emma bounced into the library with a Tupperware container. "I made you cookies! Extra chocolate chips because I remembered they're your favorite." I couldn't process it. My brain screamed to get out. "I can't tutor you anymore." Her face crumbled. What? What? Why? Useful but not boyfriend material. I spat the words and watched her drain of color. What are you talking about? The confusion in her eyes almost broke through my anger. Almost. Piney. But my bruised ego won, and I bailed, leaving her clutching those homemade cookies. For 2 weeks I went hermit mode. Just me and the cat prep in my dorm room. Tyler was weirdly supportive, saying I deserved someone who appreciated me. But something bugged me. Emma hadn't reached out once. The girl who retook Orgo 3 times suddenly gives up. End of semester. Packing up my stuff, I found Tyler's calculus notebook. Opened it, and my brain short-circuited. The handwriting was all loops and curves. Feminine, nothing like Tyler's chicken scratch. My hands shook as I dug out my Orgo notebook, where Emma had written practice problems. Identical handwriting. I tore through Tyler's notebooks. Page after page of Emma's handwriting. She'd been tutoring him in calculus this whole time. Tyler walked in, saw me surrounded by evidence, went ghost white. "Emma was tutoring you," I said. He tried playing it cool. "Doesn't change what she said about you. Those screenshots were fake." It wasn't a question anymore. His jaw clenched. "I was protecting you. She wasn't good enough. You photoshopped them. She was helping you pass calc in exchange for advice about me." His face went red. "You never make moves. Someone had to do something. By making me think she was using me?" He grabbed his stuff and stormed out. That night, his Instagram story made me want to punch walls. Him and Emma at a coffee shop downtown. Why? Next morning, Facebook, official. I stared at my phone like it had betrayed me. Tyler hadn't thought she wasn't good enough. He'd wanted her for himself all along. I started typing messages to Emma with screenshots of the evidence, but then my phone buzzed. Don't even think about it. From Tyler. Next text was a photo from sophomore year. Me holding a joint at a Delta Chi party. He texted, "Pre-med programs don't like substance violations. Your scholarship definitely won't survive this." My scholarship had a strict morality clause. Any substance use meant instant termination. My parents would disown me. Dad had made it clear. One screw up and I was on my own. Just move on. We both got what we wanted. So there I sat with proof my ex-roommate had played us both just to steal her. But he had the one thing that could nuke my future. Emma posted some sappy photo about finding love in unexpected places. I had everything to expose him, but he had me by the throat. I spent 3 days staring at that party photo on my phone. Tyler knew exactly what he was doing. That scholarship was my lifeline. Without it, no med school, no future. But Emma's face kept haunting me. The confusion when I'd thrown those fake words at her. She'd made me cookies. Who makes cookies for someone they're just using? By day 4, I cracked. I had to find a way to talk to Emma without Tyler knowing. I remembered she volunteered at the campus food pantry every Saturday morning. I'd helped her carry donations once when I ran into her struggling with boxes. Sure enough, Saturday at 7 a.m., there she was sorting canned goods, hair in a messy bun, wearing an old Boo chemistry department t-shirt. She saw me, and her whole body tensed. I could see her debating whether to run. I held up my hands like I was surrendering. Can we just talk for 5 minutes? She looked at me like I might bite, but nodded. We went outside to the campus quad. The Boston morning was cold, and she wrapped her arms around herself. I pulled out my phone and showed her Tyler's notebooks, her handwriting all over them. Explained how I'd found them, how Tyler had admitted to faking the screenshots. Her face went through about 12 emotions. Confusion, realization, anger, then this awful hurt look that made my chest tight. Why did you believe him so easily? Her voice was quiet, defeated. I didn't have a good answer. And you just mumbled something about my insecurities, how I'd always felt like the nerdy guy girls settled for when they needed help. She told me Tyler had approached her about calculus. Said he wanted to surprise me by improving his grades, that I always worried about him failing out. She'd been helping him for weeks. In exchange, she gave her advice about how to ask me out. Helped her pick out those sundresses I'd noticed. Told her I liked vanilla perfume. Moo. My stomach dropped through the floor. She'd been planning to ask me out with the cookies. That's why she made them. Chocolate chip because I'd mentioned once they were my favorite. Tyler knew. He'd helped her plan it, then destroyed it all. I wanted to tell her everything about the blackmail, but Tyler's threat echoed in my head. So I just stood there like an idiot. Emma wiped her eyes and said she had to get back to volunteering. But first she asked if Tyler had threatened me. Girl was too smart for her own good. She studied my face like it was an organic chemistry problem. I couldn't answer. She nodded like that confirmed something. Said she'd figured Tyler was up to something when he suddenly asked her out right after our fight. Too convenient. But she'd been so hurt and confused, and Tyler was there with explanations and comfort. Classic rebound. That night I got another text from Tyler. A reminder with the photo again. Stop talking to her. But something has shifted. Seeing Emma's pain lit a fire in me. This wasn't just about me anymore. Tyler had hurt her too, used her kindness, manipulated her feelings, turned her generosity into a weapon against both of us. I started planning, documenting everything. Screenshots of Tyler's texts, photos of his notebooks with Emma's handwriting, even dug up our old conversations where he pushed me to doubt her. I built a file like I was preparing for court, but that photo hung over everything like a storm cloud. Then I remembered something. My old roommate from freshman year, the klepto who'd stolen my calculator, Ralph Dott. He'd been at that Delta Chi party. Actually, he'd been the one who brought the joint. I still had his number from when we'd coordinated moving out. Long shot, but worth trying. Ralph answered on the third ring, sounded high as usual. I asked if he remembered that party sophomore year. He laughed and said barely, but his girlfriend at the time had taken like 1,000,000 photos. They'd broken up, but he still had them on an old phone somewhere. I made up some story about needing proof I was there for a bet. He bought it and said he'd look for the phone. 2 weeks passed. Finals approaching. Tyler and Emma doing the whole campus couple thing. Study dates in the library. Lunch at the student union. He'd post these stage photos with captions about finding unexpected love. Made me want to throw my phone, but Emma looked off in every picture. Smile not reaching her eyes. Then Ralph texted. He'd found the phone, had about 200 photos from that party. My heart hammered as I scrolled through Ralph's photos. Blurry shots of red Solo cups and bad dancing. Then I found it. The photo Tyler had was cropped. In the full version, you could see Tyler next to me, actually holding the joint out, his face clear as day. And in the background, timestamp visible on someone's laptop. 2:47 a.m. M. I cross-referenced with my Twitter. I'd posted about having organic chemistry at 8 a.m. that morning, complaining about the early class. Timestamp 7:45 a.m. No way I was high 5 hours after that photo and coherent enough to tweet about electron configurations. Plus the full photo showed Tyler as the one actually holding the substances. He'd cropped himself out to frame me. I saved everything to 3 different cloud accounts, emailed copies to myself, even printed hard copies because I was paranoid. But I still needed more. Tyler was smart. He'd have backups, probably more dirt. I needed to be strategic. I started hanging around his friend group from his business fraternity. Casual conversations, fishing for information. Turns out Tyler had a pattern. His ex from freshman year, Madison, mentioned he'd tried something similar. Spread rumors about her cheating when she tried to break up with him. Claimed he had compromising photos. She'd stayed an extra month out of fear before realizing he was bluffing. Another girl, Chloe, said he'd threatened to tell her parents about her tattoo sleeve. They were super religious, would have cut her off financially. She'd had to tutor him in statistics for a whole semester to keep him quiet. I was starting to see a pattern here. I reached out to both Madison and Chloe, explained what was happening with Emma. Madison was immediately on board. Still furious about her experience. Chloe was more hesitant, but agreed to back me up if needed. We started a group chat, comparing notes, building a timeline of Tyler's manipulation tactics. The guy was like a serial emotional predator. Then Emma texted me out of nowhere. Can we meet? Urgent. My heart nearly stopped. Had Tyler seen us talking at the food pantry? Was he escalating? I agreed to meet her at this 24-hour diner in Cambridge, less chance of Tyler showing up. She looked exhausted. Hair unwashed, bags under her eyes. She slid into the booth and immediately asked if Tyler was blackmailing me. No dancing around it, just straight to the point. I tried to deflect, but she pulled out her phone, showed me texts from Tyler. He'd been getting increasingly controlling, demanding to know where she was every minute, going through her phone. Classic manipulation tactics ramping up. She said she tried to break up with him. He'd lost it, started yelling about how she owed him, how he'd saved her from wasting time on a loser like me. Then he'd let slip something about keeping me in line, making sure I knew my place. That's when she knew for sure he had something on me. I finally cracked. Showed her the photo, explained the scholarship situation, the morality clause, how one substance violation would end my medical career before it started. Her face went dark in a way I'd never seen. The girl who cried over accidentally stepping on ants looked ready to commit murder. Do you have the full photo? When I showed her Ralph's version with Tyler clearly visible, she smiled. Not a nice smile. The kind that made me grateful she was on my side. I have an idea, but I need a few days. Promise me you won't do anything until I give the signal. Those few days were torture. Tyler kept pushing boundaries, showing up at my study spots with Emma, making comments about how well they fit together. Emma played along, but I could see her jaw clenching. Then Thursday night she texted, "Tomorrow. Be ready. Why not?" Friday morning I was vibrating with nervous energy. I was in the Mooger library when it started. Emma walked in with Tyler. They sat at a table near mine, close enough to hear but not obvious. Tyler was going on about summer plans, how they should take a trip to the Cape together. Emma was nodding along. Then she dropped the bomb. Mentioned how sweet it was that he'd helped her plan to ask me out, how he picked out the sundresses, helped her bake the cookies. Tyler's face went still. He tried to deflect, but Emma kept pushing. Innocent voice, like she was genuinely confused about the timeline. But then you said those screenshots were real. Were you lying when you helped me, or when you showed me those messages? Tyler started stumbling over his words, trying to explain, but every excuse dug him deeper. Emma kept asking innocent questions. When exactly had he taken those screenshots? Why hadn't he shown them to her earlier if he'd known? How did he happen to have them ready right when she was planning to confess? People were starting to stare. Tyler's voice was getting louder, more defensive. Emma stayed calm, kept asking questions. Then she pulled out her phone. Said she wanted to check the dates on those screenshots, compare them to their tutoring schedule. Tyler grabbed for her phone. Bad move. Why can't I see them? If they're real, what's the problem? Tyler was sweating now, making threats about how she didn't know who she was messing with, how he could ruin both of us. That's when Emma smiled again. That dangerous smile. Like you tried to ruin your ex Madison? Or when you blackmailed Chloe? Tyler went white. Emma had done her homework. Emma started listing every person he'd manipulated, every threat he'd made. People were definitely watching now, recording on their phones. Tyler tried to leave, but Emma wasn't done. She stood up and announced to the whole library that Tyler had photoshopped fake messages to break us up, that he'd manipulated her into dating him, that he was currently blackmailing me with an edited photo. Her voice carried across the silent library. Tyler lost it, started screaming about the photo, how I was a substance user, how he had proof. He pulled out his phone, waving it around, showed the cropped photo to anyone who'd look, yelling about morality clauses and scholarships. Basically confessing to blackmail in front of 50 witnesses. That's when I stood up, pulled out my phone, and projected Ralph's full photo on the library's presentation screen. There was Tyler, clear as day, holding the joint, the timestamp visible. The murmur from the crowd was immediate. But Emma wasn't done. She'd recorded Tyler admitting to the fake screenshots, had him on audio confessing to photoshopping them, planning the whole thing. She played it on speaker, Tyler's own voice echoing through the library, talking about protecting me from her, how he deserved her more, how I'd never make a move so he had to. The crowd turned hostile quick. People started recognizing Tyler, remembering their own weird interactions with him. Someone mentioned how he'd threatened to leak their group project if they didn't do his portion. Another person brought up how he'd spread rumors about them. Tyler tried damage control, stammering about context, but the evidence was overwhelming. The full photo, the audio confession, multiple witnesses to his blackmail attempts. He'd played himself. Campus security showed up. Someone had called about the disruption. They tried to disperse the crowd, but Emma stepped forward, calm as could be, explained that Tyler had been making threats, showed them his texts about ruining my scholarship. The security guard's face changed. Blackmail was a serious accusation. They took Tyler outside to get his side, but without the cropped photo as leverage, his story fell apart, especially when Madison and Chloe showed up. They'd been waiting outside, came forward with their own experiences. 3 separate blackmail attempts, pattern of behavior. Security called in their supervisor. By afternoon, it had escalated to the dean of students. Turns out Boo took a very dim view of students threatening each other's scholarships, especially with photoshopped evidence. Tyler tried to play victim, but the audio destroyed him. His own voice admitting to creating fake screenshots, manipulating another student, threatening academic consequences. Emma had thought of everything. She'd consulted with campus legal aid before confronting him, made sure to do it in public, got him to confess on recording, even had witnesses lined up. Girl played chess while Tyler was playing checkers. The investigation was swift. The full photo cleared me of any wrongdoing. Being in the vicinity of someone else holding substances wasn't a violation, especially when I could prove I was in class 5 hours later. But Tyler's confession to blackmail? That was a clear honor code violation, using manipulated evidence to threaten another student's academic standing. He tried to withdraw from school before they could expel him, thought it would look better on his record. But the damage was done. Word spread fast around campus. His fraternity brothers abandoned him. His parents found out when the school called about the investigation. Turns out they were big donors, were not happy their son was using their money to blackmail classmates. Emma broke up with him officially during the investigation. Did it publicly in the same Starbucks where he'd taken her for their first date. Told him she'd only dated him to get evidence of his manipulation, that every moment had been gathering proof. The look on his face was priceless. Like his brain couldn't process being outmaneuvered. She'd screenshotted every controlling text, documented every red flag, built a case like she was studying for finals. When she dumped the evidence file, even I was impressed. Girl had receipts for everything. Tyler's expulsion was finalized within 2 weeks. Fastest I'd ever seen the administration move. Guess when you threaten the scholarship system that keeps donors happy, they take it seriously. I kept my scholarship. The review board cleared me completely, even commended me for coming forward about the blackmail. People started coming forward with their own Tyler stories. Guy had dirt on half the campus, or thought he did. Most of it was weak. Embarrassing photos from parties, knowledge of who was hooking up with whom. Petty stuff he'd blown up into major threats. Someone started a support group chat for Tyler's victims. It grew to like 25 people. We compared notes, shared stories, realized how many of us had been isolated by his tactics. As for Emma and me, we didn't immediately start dating. Too much trauma to process, too weird after everything. But we went back to tutoring. Real tutoring this time, no hidden agendas, no one pulling strings. She still brought me coffee with oatmeal. I still crashed at 3 p.m. But now we talked about more than just electron configurations. About trust, about red flags we'd missed, about how easy it was to manipulate people who just wanted to help. It took months before either of us was ready to try again. The trust issues ran deep. Every nice gesture felt loaded. Every text needed analysis. We had to rebuild from scratch, learn to trust our instincts again. 6 months after Tyler's expulsion, she asked me out properly. No cookies this time, just straight up. Asked if I wanted to go to dinner somewhere nice, like a real date. I said yes immediately, then spent the next week terrified it was too good to be true. Our first official date was at this little Italian place in the North End. We spent half of it talking about organic chemistry, and the other half dissecting what had happened with Tyler. Not the most romantic topic, but necessary. A year later, she aced organic chemistry. Destroyed the curve. Got the highest grade in a class of 200. The professor asked her to tea the next semester. "Mo, when to recite? Did I know what I bring you? In Mo?" She said yes. On the condition, she could help reform the tutoring system, add oversight, create clear boundaries. I got into Harvard Medical School. Full scholarship intact. The interview had been interesting. They'd asked about the Tyler situation, how I'd handled academic blackmail, what I'd learned. I talked about integrity, about standing up for others even when it costs you. Must have been the right answer. Tyler tried to resurface once, created a fake LinkedIn to message people from our school. Some sob story about being wrongly expelled, how we'd conspired against him. Most people blocked him immediately, but a few reached out to warn us. The messages were unhinged, full of conspiracy theories about how we'd planned everything from the start. We reported the account and moved on. Didn't have the energy to engage. Emma and I are still together, 3 years now. We joke that if we could survive Tyler, we can survive anything. Med school stress, long distance during her graduate program, my residency hours. All manageable compared to being manipulated by someone we'd trusted. These days when new students reach out, heard our story through Campus Legend, want advice about their own Tyler situations, we always tell them the same thing. Document everything. Find allies. Don't let shame keep you silent. And remember that people who threaten you are usually more scared than you are. They're just better at hiding it. The truth is, Tyler could have destroyed me if I'd let him. One photo almost derailed my entire future. But Emma saw through it, fought for us both, when I was too scared to fight for myself. Still the smartest person I know, even if she did fail organic chemistry twice before figuring it out. The cookies thing became an inside joke. Every anniversary, she makes me chocolate chip cookies. Reminds us both of what almost didn't happen. What Tyler tried to steal, what we fought to keep. They taste like victory, and maybe a little like revenge. But mostly like chocolate chips and second chances.